Hey everybody, so I wanted to give you an update on the paranormal activity that has been going on in my house, which it's actually no longer going on, thank God. But I never actually did an update to tell you guys like what was going on really, like what happened afterwards. Like I did do the video telling you guys what was going on, and then I did upload a video of the paranormal investigation that I did at my house. So I wanted to kind of tell you guys about that, the investigation, give you more information on that. So just a brief summary, activity was going down at my house. I was seeing a shadow figure. We were hearing noises that could not be explained, you know, all that stuff. One thing that I did not mention to you guys, and the night that I made the video telling you guys about the paranormal activity going on, that night my mom told me that that morning, or no, the night before, when everything happened, like my mom didn't tell me till the next night, that she was sitting in the living room, just like me and Brian and my friend Cindy, just like us, sitting in the living room, and my mom sees out of the corner of her eye and sees something, and then looks over, sees a full-on shadow figure walk into the kitchen. Now, that kind of validated from what I've seen, you know, and that's where we were hearing noises too, was from that part of the house. But I had no idea that she actually saw a full-on shadow figure, and she was pissed. Like, she's like, you do not belong in my house, you, get out, you know, all that stuff. Like, you don't want to mess with my mama. Like, trust me, whether you're living or dead, you don't mess with my mom. She will mess you up. That's why I love my mom. But, she got the sense that it was like a visitor. It was visiting. It was not from here, from my house. And I know a lot of you guys were asking what the history is on this house and all this stuff. Well, ever since I've lived here, I've never had a bad feeling, or any sort of feeling that would indicate paranormal activity whatsoever. And I've lived here for about a year now, and I've never had anything until that one night. But my mom got the sense that it was a visitor, that it came from somewhere else or somebody. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but when I did the first video with my friend Brian, who you guys have met, obviously, he was talking about the attachment that he has on him. He has something attached to him. And maybe one of these days we can go a little more in depth on that subject, on his attachment, because it wasn't really explained to a certain extent in the video, because it was more fun than anything, which is fine. But basically what it comes down to, in the end, we figure out, and it makes so much sense, that this thing that was in my house, that was pretty much invading my house, came from Brian. Now, during our paranormal investigation at my house, yes, we are in my room and we get the readings where it goes from a 3.4 to just a 0, just flat. And no one has ever seen that. All these new friends that I have, these friends that I've had investigate my house, they've been doing paranormal investigating for a while. And they have never seen it just instantly drop. Another one of my friends wants to come and try it, like experiment and see if they can do it, because I know I had Christmas lights on in the hallway, and a lot of you were commenting saying, what if the lights were off, or, you know, what else is going on that's electrical, you know, because they were just doing a sweep to see what readings they would get with the lights on. So we never really did go into depth on getting readings when the lights were off. So that's one thing that a few of us want to do. When that happened, we did go and do every other room in upstairs. We did my bedroom, which is next door, and the bathroom, and it went to 0, but not as quickly as it did in this room. And the theory is that they've come up with, is that they think because this room is almost kind of like a holy room, like I have so much respect and love towards animals that are in my room that are passed on, and that I sage, and there's nothing but good in this room. They think maybe it's so good that it's just, I don't know. That's just the theory. I don't know, and that's what kind of, I guess, makes sense in my brain. But other than that, I'm not too sure. With the other rooms, the meter would just go gradually to 0. So I don't know how to explain it. Another thing that happened was we were on the stairs, where I was when I when I heard the voice coming from this room, you know. Me and Brian and Adam sat on the stairs for a while, and we kept hearing, because there's another set of stairs that goes down to the basement, and we kept hearing someone walking up and down the stairs. And it's funny because me and Brian and Adam were on the stairs, and we thought it was our friends Jay and Dama down in the basement. And just to clarify, I know a lot of you guys have heard what you think are EVPs or voices in the paranormal investigation video. I can't like say they're paranormal because of the amount of people that were in my house. And I appreciate you guys giving me like the time you heard this, and I go and I listen just in case like you heard something that maybe I couldn't explain, you know. I appreciate it, but I just want to clarify that it's a little hard to just say something's paranormal when I mean basically any voice you hear in the video can be just debunked just based off of, oh, someone could have been in the other room, you know, talking, because we were not all together in one room. But anyways, when we were on the stairs, they thought we were walking up and down the stairs, and we thought they were walking up and down the stairs in the basement. And we come together eventually, and they're like, what are you guys doing? You know, you're not being very good at being quiet. And we're like, we thought that was you. I mean, it was weird. We heard some things, you know, and Dama saw a shadow figure in the basement. And the weirdest thing, I mean, there were lots of noises, but it was hard because it's an old house, and it's not really well insulated. You know how old houses are. I mean, this house was built 1920s, 1930s, sometime around there. Maybe earlier. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing. Because we did find a photograph in a book where you could see this house, and the date was 1932. So it was at least built before 1932. That's what I'm assuming. Other than that, I really don't know much history on this house at all. But a shadow figure was seen in the basement. I went down to the basement with Jay and Dama. And when we were down there, Jay's doing his thing, walking around, and me and Dama are sitting, or no, we're standing in the back part of the basement with the EVP recorder and the meter. And she's asking questions, and I'm just kind of standing there, and I've never, I'm a sensitive, so I communicate and see things, you know, telepathically or whatever you want to call it. I very rarely physically hear or see things physically. And when it's happened, and it happened a lot this night, it's not terrifying. It's just kind of like, wait a minute. Like, it just kind of like, it's a shocker. It's kind of like you go into kind of like a shock mode where you're trying so hard to debunk it. Like, naturally, I tried really hard. But at this moment in time, in the basement, she's asking questions. And this is the first time I've ever felt this in particular, this sensation in particular. But on my arm here, it was as if something just grabbed right here. I didn't feel it. It just was like something was hovering, and all of the hairs on my arm right here stood up. And they stayed for a good maybe 30 seconds. You know, it just stayed. And it was the weirdest feeling ever. Like, I've had the hair on the back of my neck stand up, or like when you get goosebumps. This was not goosebumps. This was just, it was like electricity when you get a balloon and you rub it and it you know, you can pull your hairs, you know, from your arm. It's kind of like an electricity feeling. It was so weird, and I was mentioning it, and then they're saying, oh, it's totally normal. And I'm like, not for me. I mean, it was pretty freaky. And I had a really loose fitting shirt on at the time too. It's just like a really, really thin fabric. And on the same arm, it felt like someone was just doing this like the whole time. And I'm like, and I wouldn't move. I would stop moving, and I would just feel it pull away from my arm, my shirt, because it was loose and it was a thin fabric, which could easily be picked up by a spirit if they're willing. I don't know. That was strange to me. Upstairs in the living room again, Adam and Brian were in there, and Adam saw a full-on shadow figure in the same room that my mom saw the shadow figure walk into the kitchen. Brian didn't see it, but Adam did, and he turned his flashlight on and there's nothing there, you know, so that all happened that night. They kept getting some strange readings on the meter and all that. Other than that, the investigation, I mean, we did use a ghost box, and I think we heard it say Jay's name and Dama's name. It wasn't really too helpful. We tried to ask if it came from Brian. That was like the main thing, was did Brian bring you here? You know, because that was one of the first things Brian told me. He said, I really hope I didn't bring something to your house. And that was my hint of, I think it is Brian. Sorry, Brian. I love you. I know you're watching this. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. But maybe it is a little bit. I don't know. That night I slept fine. I was afraid that I wasn't gonna like sleep very good because, dude, we just did a paranormal investigation in my house. Oh my gosh. Like, I thought I wouldn't sleep very well, but I actually slept fine. Like, wasn't creepy. I wasn't scared or anything. It was fun. It was fun. It was very, very hard for me to tune into anything like with my abilities at all. It was like a light switch. It was shut off because it was my home. It was like I didn't want to validate that there was something there, but I couldn't deny that there was something there. I just didn't want to tune into it. And a few nights later, I invited my friend Kristen over, just to kind of get a feel for the house and help me sage it. Because I felt like in this case, I needed help. Oh, I really needed help. And so she came over and I showed her the video. And it's so funny because in the paranormal investigation video, the footage that I was really only going to upload the one where we're getting the reading in this room. The rest of the footage where we're walking around, you know, I just threw that in just for the heck of it. I thought, well, maybe I'll throw it in case somebody sees something or hears something, or I don't know. And it was funny because I showed her the video and she saw a full-on shadow figure move. And it was so funny because I didn't even see it. So in the footage, if you go back and watch it, right where the footage from in my room changes to where we're walking around in another room downstairs, there's a moment where my husband's the one who has the camera and Jay's in the room and they're alone in the beginning. And right when my husband says something about the Blair Witch or like, this is like the Blair Witch, he pans over a little bit and you see something like a black figure dart out of the frame. So go and watch that and let me know what you think. The thing is, you can hear Brian talking behind Adam at that moment, but Brian is behind Adam and I'm in the doorway and Dama is in the hallway. That's where we are. No, I'm not entirely sure when Brian comes in. I remember coming in and just standing in the doorway while they were filming, and Brian comes in after me, you know, which is, I don't know. We tried to debunk it that night. When I showed Kristen the footage, we tried to debunk it that night, me, her, and Adam. We go into the room, we turn off all the lights, we make it exactly how we had it. Kristen was where Jay was, and I was trying to recreate the shadow while Adam was filming. And where he was standing is right in front of the bed that's there. So I literally had to be like sitting on the bed in order to be right where that shadow was. I mean, we had to be like this far apart, but I had to be like sitting on the bed. It didn't really make sense because there's no one in there. I don't know. We tried to recreate it. We couldn't. When I did stand in front of the camera, you know, you could see me. I tried to like move like the shadow did. The thing is, on the camera, when it was me, you can see like my clothes. I wasn't just solid black. You could see my clothes. Like I had a jacket on and you could see it. But in the footage that I have posted, it's just solid black. I don't know. What we're trying to do now is we're thinking about recreating the scenario with Dama, so Dama can be there, and with anybody else in our group. We want to because we don't want to just say it's paranormal. We don't want to say, oh, it's a shadow figure. Because this was when we were getting kind of a feel for the house. This wasn't even when the investigation was really going on. This was right when we just turned the lights off and Adam's just filming, Jay's looking around, you know, getting a checking the place out. So we weren't even really investigating, which maybe that's when you catch the best stuff. I'm not sure. But we caught a shadow figure, I guess, but I don't want to say it's paranormal for sure yet. We're still wanting to see if we can debunk it in some way, some trick of the light, because Adam did have a flashlight as he's holding the camera, but there's no, I don't know, it's just so weird. I don't know, I've watched it so many times and I can't make sense of it, and it creeped me out when I saw it. But if it is a shadow figure, it's validation for what I saw, what my mom saw, and what Adam saw. And that night after we, everything, Kristen helped me stage my house, and she did like tune in because she's as sensitive too. She did kind of tap into my house, and she said it feels like something has changed in the house as far as feel goes. So we staged it, and like I actually saw her last night. We hung out, and she's like, "You got your house back. It feels like your house now," which is, I agree. It totally feels like it's my house, my home again. I think whatever it was that Brian brought here, it's gone. But what was kind of creepy, when me and Brian did our Christmas special video, when we were getting ready for that, he came over after work. He went to go change his clothes in my bathroom, and I had the dog here. I was playing with the dog while Brian was in the bathroom, and where our front door is, it has this huge glass window on the door, and the door is basically in the center of the house. So here's the living room, and then here's a piano room, which is where we saw the shadow figure walk into the kitchen. The kitchen's right next to the piano room. Which the piano room is like a dining room, but there's a piano in there. That's what they call it, piano room. But I had a toy for the dog, and I threw it from the living room to the piano room. The dog chases it, and then I decide to run. Well, to chase the dog, right? So I'm running. As I run, I'm not just jogging, just frolicking through. I just happened to glance out the front door through the window there, and I just looked over for it, just like that. And in that split second, then I looked over. This is the first time I've ever seen a shadow figure so clear. But that split second I look over, on my porch, I saw a head, shoulders, arms, legs, a full-on black shadow figure on my porch. I stop in the piano room, and I literally back up, and I'm looking, there's nothing there. I'm moving, and I'm looking to see, because there's some odd reflections from the light inside, because it was dark outside. So there were weird reflections going on the glass on the door. So I'm looking, I'm trying to recreate what I saw. I run from the living room through to the piano room, and I'm doing the same thing, and I'm not seeing anything like what I saw. No shadows. And that kind of made my heart stop. And then when Brian came out of the bathroom, I told him about it. He opened the front door and went out, stood on the porch, and the dog usually would just run out and go for a little frolic, go to the bathroom or whatever, and come back in. The dog would not leave. The dog would not go outside. And usually, like, if the dog won't, usually he's waiting for you to say okay. And I said, it's okay, you can go. He would not move. And that dog would never do that. He would just be like, okay, cool, I can go now, It was weird. So Brian went to his car. He came back. When he came back, he said, I was looking at my car when I'm walking towards it, and I swore I saw someone sitting in the car. He swore he saw someone. He was like, he thought it was a trick in the eye. He's looking, and then it's gone. And all he said was, it can wait in the car till I come home. It's not coming in your house. And I was like, yeah, it's not allowed. And I got the feeling that it couldn't come in. I just knew it couldn't. And it's just how ironic. The day before, I happened to stage my house with Kristen, and I felt good about it. And then the next day, Ryan comes over, and that thing's trying to get in again. And I was home alone a couple nights later, and it felt like someone was staring from outside in through all the windows. Like, I don't know, I could just feel it, like, I don't know, it was just kind of a weird feeling, and I was telling him about it, and he said that thing is very persistent. And I was like, well, it ain't coming in. And my mom's made sure she's had her say, you know, protecting this house, and I'm protecting this house too. And Brian's got his little, whatever his attachment is, it's kind of like, it's actually getting worse on his part. So, and it's funny because he said when all the activity was happening at my house, the activity at his house stopped. How ironic is that, you know? And as soon as it stopped here and it's gone, it picked back up again at his house. So, but it's gotten worse. And maybe we'll do a video with him where he can go into depth about what has been happening at his house, and everything. But yeah, we want to do a paranormal investigation at his house to figure out what the heck this thing is. And I feel like that before I do that, I have to protect myself. I will bring my sage. I will, you know, gonna be very careful with this because I'm curious to see what the heck this thing is and what's going on, and if there's a way to get rid of it, you know. But when you get rid of something like that, it has to go somewhere. So I would hate for it to attach to anybody else, you know. So I feel like you just have to be very careful with it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And if we do an investigation, I'll film it, or I'll try to film it, or I'll just do a vlog with Brian afterwards. Yeah, so, yeah. I'm just glad that the activity is, it's not here anymore. My home is my home. It's safe. This is my sanctuary. It's nothing like that's allowed at all. So I'm just glad it's gone. But I do feel bad that Brian keeps experiencing stuff. And he's experiencing some kind of, I mean, if it was me, I'd be freaking terrified. And I'm going to save all that information though for another vlog with him. Which I know you guys will probably love to hear about all that creepy stuff. I mean, it's creepy. Because it's attached to him. It's not from his house. It's just kind of like taking residence at his place, you know, and it's a newer home. It's not like new, but it's like, you know, within the last, I don't know, what, 10 years? I don't know how old your house is, Brian, but it's not old. It's not old. So, yeah. Yeah. So, if you guys have any questions about any of the activity or anything like that, or if you have questions for Brian, we can answer those in another video. And please check out my paranormal investigation video that I did at my house and look for that black shadow thing. I think, I can't remember the time, but it's right when my husband says something about the Blair Witch. He says something. It's right in the beginning of, after we're done filming in this room. It just cuts straight to the other room. So watch that, look out for it. Let me know what you think. Eventually I'm gonna see if I can debunk it. We've tried to debunk it. We're gonna keep trying until we can't figure it out. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. So yeah, comment down below. Let me know what you think, and I will talk to you guys later. I love you guys. Bye.